Thinks it looks fine. The whole locker room has it. Happy Hockey Day, Tiger fans. Here we go again. This will be the consolation match, playing for 3rd and 4th place in the President's Day tournament. It will be a rematch against a team we faced just yesterday morning. Seems like so long ago that we took on this Utah Junior Grizzlies team. That one at the Broadmoor World Arena main building was an Olympic sheet of ice. Today, we're coming to you from Colorado's Steel City, Pueblo, Colorado. This sheet is home to the Pueblo Bulls, developmental team. For my understanding is for 17 and 18-year-old kiddos hoping to make it onto a college squad. Much different feel than the many more seated Broadmoor World Arena and the Olympic-sized sheet that's there. This will be a much more intimate affair. Smaller sheet should mean more contact, but we'll see what translates on the day. Last time we did face this Utah Junior Grizzlies squad, we did, of course, come away with a win. They had to go against NoCo last night. Suffered the same fate we did, hence the matchup this morning. As far as I'm aware, everyone healthy and ready to go, or at least healthy enough and ready to go. The crud has been in the locker room, so certainly some kids struggling through sniffles, sneezes, coughs. I'm sure there's some bumps and bruises to go alongside those after a long tournament weekend. At least a few of our families call Pueblo home. They're happy to have a little bit less of a drive today. Jalen heads to the crease. He'll protect the pipes today. Taking the opening drop are going to be a couple of hometown boys in Hunter and Henry. Miles will be your near side wing. Scratch that, not Henry. It's going to be Easton in at center, Hunter on the far side wing, Miles on the near side wing. Marshall back on defense with Josh. Low ceiling in this barn, so no lob shots today. One back by Easton, but not controlled. Now taken the other direction by Easton. He kicks it up to his stick. Knocked off his stick on that far side. Utah able to jam it out of the zone and down to the other end. They'll say no icing, so Marshall's going to have to go to work. He takes it around the back of the net. Jams it up toward Miles, but sent around to the near side on the second attempt. That's Easton bringing it up the center of the ice. Lost it, prevented an early opportunity. Finally, they do get a soft shot that Jalen's able to glove dead with 14:20 in the first period. Coach will send out a new 5. Jared out on defense with Tate. It'll be Henry, Steven, and Brody as your forwards. Puck is won back by Utah. He loads up, sends it into Brody in front of him, but recollects, sends it into Henry on the second attempt. And Henry cannot get it out of the zone. Utah turns in shots. That one, Jalen has to fight to keep from getting in, able to squeeze that dead for another faceoff. A couple of quality chances here, or at least one quality chance there early for these Utah Junior Grizzlies. The ref telling the boys behind the faceoff to stay back. And that drop works out a little bit better. It's jammed into the corner, but fought for there by the Junior Grizzlies. They come away with it, get it back to their defenseman, who sends it in, but not through traffic. Jared goes and gets it in the far corner. Whacks it up as far as the blue line does, Jared. Lifted in deep again by Utah. Jared recollects and now shovels that one up to Brody, who gets it into the Tigers' end of the ice before going for a change. This is Henry and Steven working below the goal line, but sent up that far side. Jared can't hold it in, so the Tigers will have to regroup. AJ twisting, lost it in his feet there. AJ, Teague, and Colton are going to be your forwards out for the Tigers now as that comes to the top of the zone. Colton flashing in, able to hold it briefly, but finally swept to that far side and out to neutral ice. Jared sends it back in, but not deep. Colton working to try and repossess the zone. AJ taps it to Colton. Colton dancing along the blue line, has space, will fire it in, and a good shot by Colton. I believe deflection by Teague in front. So that's going to be an AJ to Colton to Teague goal to make it 1-0 with 12:57 in this consolation match. Your Tigers looking to finish third. AJ made a nice pass to Colton to get the zone entry there. Colton bought time at the top of the zone, sends it in on net, and Teague with the redirect right in front of the goalie to get it in the back of the net. As the Grizzlies send that up the near boards, AJ twists it back. Now AJ kicks it out to Colton. Colton can't quite collect it, but does just get it swept into the zone. Teague going to work on the near boards. Now Colton, supported by AJ. AJ can't dance around there. Pieman lays the contact, another one of our Pueblo, or at least closer to Pueblo locals. That one went off the post and popped out. And now we'll go all the way down for an icing with 12:22 in the first. Your Tigers ahead 1-0. Headed out to keep working. It is Pyman here on the near side D, Cruin on the far side D. Gavin, Jack, and Preston will be your forwards as the Grizz win that one, ribbon around far side, not able to hold the zone on your Tigers. They're working to recollect the puck here at neutral ice. Jack backhands that one, but the Grizzly player able to collect it and send it down to the Tigers' defensive end. Jack's Pyman takes a good hit there. He pops right back up. Working the puck up in the high zone. Puck does come loose and then is whacked in deep by the Grizz. Missed on the first attempt to clear there did Cruin. He'll still work in the corner though. He's supported by Gavin, who tries the wraparound centering attempt. Can't be handled by the Grizzly player, but he does stop the pass, the breakout attempt by the Tigers. So that goes back in deep. Preston going for a change, hopping onto the ice is Miles as the puck is being played on the near side boards. Gavin trying to whack that up, gets it as far as the blue line, but again sent back in deep by the Grizzly squad. Pyman rims that around, Miles gets twisted up. Finally Cruin able to get it and just send it down. It will be an icing, but it will not be an icing. Didn't make it quite far enough, so good angle there by Cruin, and now pestering in the offensive end of the ice is Miles. Miles, Easton, and Hunter are your forwards as the Grizzly able to gain the zone, but knocked off the puck as soon as he crossed the blue line by Josh. Josh and Marshall are your defensemen on the ice. It's Marshall working on the near side, now going below the goal line to work the puck up. Grizzlies able to get it, knocked off his puck stick by Marshall. Easton and Miles working, that's sent in far side by the Grizzly defenseman. Now sent back in again to the near side. So back and forth we go in the zone. That is swept out. They'll say no icing as it was tipped. We'll see if a forecheck can pay off. Rimmed around near side. Not anyone to hold it in the zone. Marshall pesters the Grizzly on the breakout attempt at center, or on the stretch attempt at center ice. Josh sends that up, but a streaking Grizzly player cuts it off, so the Tigers cannot break out clean. Now Josh trying to do it himself through center ice and does so. Good work by Josh here to get it in, sends it toward the backside of the net, misses just wide. Steven fresh onto the ice. Maybe could have been a tripping call there, but they're going to let him play. Did look somewhat incidental, doesn't mean it's not a trip. This is Henry now turning it back up the near boards, and Brody able to collect, taps across for Steven. Steven loads up, and that one deflected up high of the net. Brody on the wraparound, backhands it across the crease, comes all the way up to Tate at the blue line. Henry now collecting on the near boards. Looking across, trying to find someone to get the puck to, decides to do it himself, turns and shoots right into the gut of the waiting goalie. 9:05 in the first period. Your Tigers protecting a 1-0 lead. Henry will stay in for the faceoff. Stays where it's at. He taps it towards Steven, who was hopping in, but that does come all the way down. Jared's going to go back to get it, swats it into the stick of the player that was attacking. Steven, that scratched that. Brody able to get the puck and gain the zone. Whiffs on the shot attempt, but able to get it in a little bit deeper for his squad. Sent in deep there by Jared, but Steven headed for a change. Henry turns, looks, makes a twist pass toward Teague, but Teague hadn't anticipated that, so Henry has to recollect the puck. Dumped into the zone by Henry, and he will go for a change. Teague pressures below the goal line, AJ and Colton on the ice for the Tigers, your goal scoring line today. AJ cuts off that pass and heads back toward the net. He takes a shot, fought off by the goalie. That bounces down in the crease. Colton tried to slap it down and in, but it just bounced too much. Good opportunity again for this line. Teague jams it along the goal line. AJ is going to be the first to get it in the corner, sweeps it toward the center, can't connect on the first attempt. Colton able to jam that on the goalie, who makes the save with 7:43 in the first. Pieman will be back on defense with Cruin. Your forwards are going to stay as Colton, AJ, and Teague. Teague will be in front of the net, AJ on the near side boards. Rimmed all the way around to the far side where the Grizzly player able to collect it, jam it into the Tigers' defensive end of the ice. Attacking there is Cruin in the corner. Does come out toward the net, and the puck went in, but a whistle happened first as a player is down on the far side. We hope he's okay. Ref was worried about an injured player. And you always worry about player safety first. Colton wins that back into the corner. This is Josh working to jam it around to the near boards where Teague collects it, sends a cross-ice pass for AJ, who has to try and settle that down. He wanted to dump it deeper, I believe, and go for a change. Instead, Grizzlies send that out to Colton. Now AJ does go for that change he was looking for. Colton turns and sends that, not as deep as he wanted, so hopefully not a bad change here for the Tigers. Works out as Jack gets in front of the puck carrier, cuts him off. Puck does work its way deep, now sent to the blue line by the Grizzly, who send it in, miss wide, far side. On the ice, it is Gavin and Jack. Teague's still stuck out there at this minute as Gavin has it. He swept it across for Teague, but Teague needed to make that change. So Gavin going to go get it himself on these near side boards. Jack now taps it back below the goal line. Preston on to the ice for the Tigers, works there. A breakout attempt doesn't work, sent back in deep by Marshall as Jack goes for a change. This is Preston working on that far side, now lifted up as far as center ice where Tate's going to get it and turn and create some space for his squads. Makes the pass to Preston. Preston dances through center ice, beats the first guy, sweeps through the second guy, but unfortunately in offsides with 5:58 in this first period. Forwards are going to be Easton, Miles, and Hunter. Defense is Tate and Jared, as that's one back. And here goes Easton into the Tigers zone. He takes the shot, misses wide near side. I believe that might have been a pass off the pad attempt, but missed there and wouldn't have had the forward there to slap it in anyway. So here we go to the other end. Jared has it, sends it across near side to Tate. Comes up the near boards to Miles, who twists it, but Grizzlies able to collect it and take a shot there, saved by Jalen. Back up to the point, that gets deflected, misses wide near side. Tigers trying to get out of the zone, dangerous pass across the center of the net there, but it works out. Tate to Jared, Jared sends it back across to Easton, who gets it as far as center ice. Now Tate gonna collect, loses it, turns, recollects. Looking up ice, made the smart decision to not go in front of the net that time, but it does just make its way. Backhanded in soft by the Grizzlies squad. Jared brings it up near side, tries to bang it up the glass, and finally does come out of the zone for the Tigers. Miles going to work. Now Hunter on that far side, able to pin it to the boards. Miles going for a change, as is Hunter. Steven on the ice. Cross ice pass from Brody to Steven. Looks really good there. Steven looking for his options and then loses, takes a funny fall, but he pops right back up. Tough kid. No worries there. Brody working on the near boards. Easton going to go for a change, so it'll be Henry on the ice for the Tigers at center now. This is Cruin working in the corner, hit by a couple of Grizzly players, but puck comes to the near side for Pyman. He sends it across far side. AJ absorbs the contact, and these Grizzlies will play a physical game. Got to keep your head up. This is Henry able to gain the zone. That's Brody, not AJ, that took that contact. Henry twists it through the center of the ice, but nobody home. Working below the goal line is Josh. He tries to bring it up center ice, knocked off his stick. Pyman picks it up and goes to the other side. Nice cross ice pass there to Teague. So it's Teague, Henry, and now AJ on the ice for your Tigers as the Grizzlies look to gain the zone. Puck sent harmlessly below the goal line. Rimmed back around near side. Puck makes its way all the way to the blue line, sent back down in along the boards, twisted below the goal line. This is Marshall on the far side with the puck, taps it up, but right to a Grizzly player there. Teague tries to flash and tap that out, takes a bounce off the boards. AJ dances through center ice, leaves it for Colton. Colton makes a move and misses that one up high. AJ's going to get it off the far boards, tries to twist it back, finds Marshall, who gets a shot on net, sticked aside by the Grizzly goalie. Now up the boards, Marshall holds it at the blue line briefly, finally sent out to neutral ice. Jack on for the Tigers with Preston. Jared gets that, sends it across to Colton. Colton tries to sweep that toward Preston, who is flashing through center ice, but instead the other direction we go. Grizzlies have it. This is Tate pestering in the corner, brought around to under the goal line. Jared gets it up to Preston, and Preston heads back into the Tigers' offensive zone. So fast hockey today. Grizzly goalie is going to cover that one up with just under 2 minutes, 1:58 remaining in this first period. Gavin out for the face-off. He's got Hunter on his far side, Jack on his near side. Tate back on defense as that is swept back to Tate. He'll send it across to the streaking Jared, who can't connect on that one. Jared twists it back across to the near side where the Grizzly player's going to be able to get it. Tate tries to send it across, and an opportunity there for the Grizzly off the near post. Tigers get away with one there so far, and finally able to get it out of the zone. Grizzlies regroup, and Tigers got lucky a couple times today. Jalen's going to glove that one dead with 126. Tate just couldn't quite handle the puck, which created a two-man rush, a 2-on-0 for the Grizzlies, and they just bang it off the near side post. Looks like Easton set to take the face-off here. Cruin out on defense, Hunter out on wing. Pyman, I believe, on the near side D. As the Grizzlies control that off the face-off, but Miles pesters and bangs it up the boards to himself into the zone. He takes the shot. That's blockered high, twisted back below the goal line. And that'll be lifted all the way to the far end for an icing with 1:02 left in this first period. Out for the offensive zone faceoff, it's going to be Henry in at center. Scratch that, looks like Steven in at center. Henry in front of the net, Brody on the near side wing. Marshall back on defense with Josh. And this is Henry twisting it toward the goal. Protected, but off the side of the cage. This is now Brody getting it in the corner. Turns again. Sends it back to Josh on the blue line. Josh to Marshall. Marshall jams it into the legs of the player in front of him. Henry working in the corner. Now Steven tries to jam it in near side and does. That'll be goal number 2 with 29 seconds remaining. Good effort by Steven there. I believe it's going to be maybe a Josh to Marshall to Steven, if I'm remembering right. But that'll make it 2-0 for your Tigers late in this first period. Steven just pulling it out of the corner, acted like he was going to walk it behind the goal, which opened just enough space on that near side for him to jam it home. Henry, Brody, and Steven are your forwards. I'm going to have my helper help you out for the finish of this first.
Another goal by Tigers, making it 3-0. I believe that was Brody on the goal, assisted by Henry. Just 7 seconds left in this first period. Tigers up 3-0. Tigers win the face-off. They're hungry for another one. Didn't quite make that one. A good attempt by the Tigers. Heading into the second period, 3-0. Second period about to start here in Pueblo. The Colorado Tigers up 3-0, playing the Utah Grizzlies. This is the second time we have seen this team in the tournament. First time was on Olympic ice at the World Arena. Tigers came out of that one with a 4-1 win. I'm sure the Grizzlies want a little revenge. Hopefully we can hang in and take another win home today. Grizzlies win the face-off. It's AJ working the puck there, trying to poke it down. There was a goal. I didn't even see it happen. A lot of teamwork there. I don't know who was first through that line. Oh, AJ. Possibly assisted by Teague, maybe? My husband's much better at announcing this. He'll be back with us shortly. Okay, we've got a new line out. Hunter On the near side wing, Easton taking the face off. Tigers quickly get that puck back. We've got Miles out on the ice. With Jared on D. Getting tied up. There we go, Miles. Getting it across center ice. Jared's got a hold of that puck. Ooh, Hunter takes a hit. Miles brings it up. Pass it to Easton. Shot on net. It's blocked by the goalie. Unable to hold that in. Tigers chase it down. There's an icing. We're heading back to the other end of the ice. And Tigers make a change. Got Pie Man out there. Cruin. Looks like Steven on your near side wing. Ooh, another shot on net. These Tigers want more. There's Henry working hard. Passing it up the ice. Oh, Brody had it and lost it, but Pie Man's got it. Working hard just to get it across into Grizzly zone. And now they've got the puck. Not for long as our Tigers take over. Playing a little back and forth. Shot on net by the Grizzlies. Bounces off the pads. Got a few new players coming in for the Tigers. And we've got that covered up. Good job, Jalen. All right, we've got Gavin out there. Along with Preston. Can't quite see who else is out on the ice. Jack, it looks like. This line's been performing well this weekend. Working hard. Good teamwork. Jack takes it, pass it to Preston. Oh, just wide of the net. Great shot there by Preston. Gets past the D. It's down for icing. And the Tigers send a new line out. We've got Giernazzo on D along with Marshall, Teague, Colton, and I believe AJ. Puck goes to AJ. Tigers win that face-off. Here he comes around. Centering the puck. Tossed on that was Teague. I believe the goalie covered it up there as Colton tried another shot on net. Grizzlies swap out their center. And the Tigers manage to take the puck face-off. Good hustle by AJ in the corner. I believe that just went over the blue line. Called offsides. And we're back to the face-off dot. Grizzlies try and get that out. And they do. Good stop by Jalen. And here comes AJ up the ice. Shot on net. Nice rebound opportunity, but goalie shuts us down. Oh, couldn't quite hold that in, but we've got Jared catching it behind the blue line there. That shot goes wide by the Grizzlies. I believe the Tigers are making a change here. Got some new people on the ice. Got Easton, Miles, Hunter out. Sure forwards.
Which one?
Jared Naza, Marshall.
Sorry for having to step away there. Missed a couple of goals myself. One late in that first period. Thought I had an opportunity to excuse myself there, but hopefully you're able to track the action well enough as we scored 2 more goals since I've last been chatting. It is Miles, Hunter, and Easton out as your line of forwards. Tate's going to go to get this one on the far end of the ice with Jared. Tate does that, send that to Jared on the near side. Hunter will dig it up the near board, sends it to Easton, who gained the zone with some speed. Knocked off his stick before he could cross the blue line. And so we'll try again. Jared sends that off the side of the cage. Wanted to get it around to Tate, but instead, off the side of the cage onto the stick of the Grizzly player, who's able to send that home to make it a 4-1 game. .9:12 left in this second period. Your Tigers holding on to a 3-goal lead. It's going to be Henry looking to get that back at center with Brody on the near side, Steven on the far side. Cruin and Pyman back on defense. Cruin taps that up to Steven. Steven gets that across to Henry, who couldn't get it on the first attempt. Henry back to Brody. Brody fires it in. Steven couldn't get it redirected. And it looks like it will be a penalty on the Grizzlies. It will be a holding. And so your Tigers headed to the man advantage with 8:49 in this second period. We're going to put out the power play 1 unit, who has found their rhythm a little bit more here as of the last couple games. It will be Brody on the near side wing, Steven taking the face-off with Easton in front of the net, Josh on your near D with Henry on the far D. We wait as the clock operators figure out the operation of the scoreboard. They're a little bit different in every rink, and it is largely parent volunteers working to get the numbers up there. Easton collects it, brings it to the near side, but knocked off his stick. So here goes the Grizzly squad the other direction. He'll send it in deep, and the Tigers are going to have to go the full length of the ice. Josh gets it, and he'll bring it up right through the center. Now shifts to the near side, stops, buys time for his team to get set, sweeps it over near side for Easton, who dances at the blue line and loses it. Sent back up into the neutral zone. Easton will tap it back deeper where Stevens going to get it. He'll cycle it around to the far side and dump it in, but off his stick, now swept back into the Tigers' offensive end by the Grizzlies, who send it up as far as the half boards on the near side. Steven will tap it back deep, lifted back towards Steven, and bounces up to Easton. Easton able to settle it and get it back into the zone. He'll take it around the back of the net. He tries the wraparound attempt, denied there by the Grizzly goalie, so he'll just dump it below the goal line where Steven's going to go jam it further toward Henry. Henry picks it up, skates it back behind the net. Leaves it for Easton. Now to Josh. And Tigers slowing things down to try and create here. Josh being pestered, able to sweep it deep. And then rimmed around. No Tigers on that far side, so it will get out of the zone with 27 seconds left on the power play. Here comes Henry with some speed. He gains the zone quickly, shoots into the legs of the player in front of him. That gets it into Josh's stick. Josh loads up, takes a shot, and that'll be gloved dead by the Grizzly goalie with 16 seconds left on the penalty, 7:05 left in this second period. Your Tigers ahead 4-1. Colton set to take the drop. It's going to be Miles on the near side wing. AJ in front of the net. Cruin and Pieman back on defense. Puck dropped. AJ skates in, gets it, tries to shoot, but a good stick by the Grizzly player prevents that from happening. Sticked down there just outside the zone by Pieman. Cruin will regain briefly for the Tigers, but now turned aside. 2, now 1-0, and the Grizzlies able to sweep that off of AJ's stick. Their full strength. Gain the zone. Cruin able to get it up these near boards. AJ now trying to sweep it a little bit further. Tapped back toward AJ, and here he goes the other direction with some speed. Drop pass to Colton, who sends it through to Miles. Miles can't get good contact. Stick from the Grizzly defenseman prevents that from happening. Now deflected up and out of play. It'll be a deep offensive zone faceoff for the Tigers with 6:20 in the second period. Jared and Tate back on defense. It'll be Gavin taking the faceoff with Preston to his near side, Jack in front of the net. That does get pushed toward the near boards, now rimmed around all the way to the other side. But again, reversing direction here are the Grizzly squad, swatting it around to the near boards. Gets as far as the half boards where Gavin collects it, turns it back toward Jared now, has it on his stick, shoots it. Jack attempts the deflection back in, but misses wide far side. Jared has it here at neutral ice, backhands it in. They say no offsides. Preston pestering. He's knocked off the puck. It's a 2-on-1 battle there, and the Grizzlies come away with it on the far side. But do lose it, so now Gavin has it and sends it back below the goal line for the Tigers. Takes a funny bounce out of the corner there. Jack absorbs the hit. Now Preston going to work on the far side. Not able to pinch it there, and that's going to go all the way down, and that will be an icing with 5:21 in the second period. It's going to be Marshall back on defense with Josh. Henry set to take the face-off with Brody on his far side and Steven in front of the net. Puck twisted to the far boards. Brody collects it, sends it to Josh back at the blue line. Josh sends it in, and a screen there works as that gets through clean. No deflection. That's going to be a Brody to Josh. There's probably a second assist there, but I'll have to go back and watch the replay. Josh scoring on the shot from the blue line makes it 5-1 in favor of your Tigers. 5:14 left in this second period of the consolation match. Henry wins that to the near side. Josh turns, looks, sends it across to Marshall. Marshall up ice to Steven. Steven tried to make the centering pass there, and you wonder if maybe he had some space in front of him, maybe could have gained the zone instead of attempting the centering pass. But puck is in the zone. Brody's working it on the near side. Grizzlies able to get it up the glass, now down to the zone, down to the other end of the ice. This is Josh, sees some space, sends it across to Steven, who had someone in his pocket that time on the pass. Now Brody able to get it, dances at center ice, sweeps it to the near side, turns, look, has time, has space, but then loses it as there were three guys collapsed on him there at the last second. Now Marshall going to be the next Tiger to try and get it up ice. Henry finally able to get it into the zone as his squad's making a change. That's Hunter going to get it on the near side now. Hunter, Miles, and Easton are your forwards. This is Cruin dancing it in from the blue lines. Slides it to Henry, who's working in the corners. Now Miles will step in and pick up the puck pressure. Hunter decides to rejoin that action, so it's Hunter and Miles. Miles comes away with it. Backhand centering pass attempt gets through. Easton and Hunter couldn't get a good shot on it in front of the net. Puck goes back below the goal line. Hunter jams it up far side, makes the contact. Grizzlies able to rim it around near side, and here they go the other direction. But Cruin there to cover up the puck carrier, keep him from getting anything too clean on the entry. Easton also steps in to help out there. That one passed up from Cruin to Hunter. Hunter makes a centering pass but can't quite connect with Miles. Miles will go to work on that far side to regain possession of the puck, takes a bounce out off those boards. Easton able to stick handle around and just misses on the backside shot there. Teague fresh onto the ice for these Tigers, sweeps it toward the net. That'll be gloved dead by the Grizzly goalie with 2:56 in the second period. Your Tigers protecting a 5-1 lead. Colton in at center with Teague in front of the net. AJ on the far side wing. Jared back on defense with Tate, I do believe. That one is a quick turn shot there for Teague, who loses his skates, misses wide far side, makes it as far as Tate at the blue line, who jams it into AJ. He has room to turn, gets it into the corner. He takes it all the way around to the near side, taps that to Jared. Jared fires that into traffic. AJ collects it, sends it across to Tate. Tate's going to be able to skate that one, send it into Teague, who turns, and again, quick shot for him, but smothered by the Grizzly goalie with 2:27 in the second period. Coach going to leave Colton AJ Teague in as your forward line. That puck deflected up. AJ able to collect it, turns and shoots, kicked aside by the Grizzly goalie, rimmed around now to that far side. It's going to be Colton and Tate over there trying to hold the zone. They cannot. AJ taps it to Jared. Jared now back towards center ice, where Colton has to squeeze between three Grizzly players. Now just one left. He's battling on the boards. Boys pushing and shoving. Forgot about the puck. Jared able to send it back in deep for us. Now Teague on that far side gets tangled up. Didn't lose his stick, but it was pinned behind him. This is AJ working below the goal line, sends it into the goalie. That gets lifted up into this short ceiling, and so will be an offensive zone face-off for your Tigers with 1:48 in the second period. It's It's going to be Gavin taking the face-off with Jack on the far boards, Preston in front of the net, Josh back on defense near side with Marshall in front of the boys on the bench. That puck is won back by the Grizzlies, who rim it around near side. And that breakout attempt does work. Here they go into their end. Marshall working in that far corner. Puck does get past him to Preston, who sweeps it up as far as the blue line. Grizzly defender jams it back in, but not deep. So Preston and Gavin working. Now finally does get swept into the corner where Marshall gets there first, sends it over to Josh. Josh up to Preston, who can't maintain possession at neutral ice, so back into the defensive end we go. Rimmed around near side, Josh has it. He sees Preston on the far side. Preston gets it as far as center ice, dumps it in. This is Hunter now working below the goal line. He's on for Jack, who made the change. Preston back to Josh, who's able to just reach enough to hold it at the blue line, fires it back in deep. This is Gavin working to get the puck toward the center of the ice. Deflects up high near side. And that'll just get tapped out to the neutral zone where Brody picks it up, makes a quick turn there, taps it to Steven. Steven through the legs of the player in front of him, but misses wide, far side. Henry able to jam that towards Steven. Henry and Steven working below the goal line as we count to 15 seconds left here. Henry skating up those far boards. And these Grizzly players do want to set the physicality levels a little bit higher here to try and get something going in this game outside that one goal. But that'll wrap it up for this second period of the consolation match. Your Tigers will head into the third and final frame with a 4-goal lead, ahead 5-1. You never know if the shots on goal on the clock are accurate, but where it stands, according to that, would be 15 in favor of your Tigers, 15 shots, 5 goals. For these Grizzly, 10 shots, 1 goal. Who had the third goal, do you know? Was it at the end of the first or beginning of the second? Who had the third and fourth goals? I had to step away. So it was Nazo late in the first. AJ. Okay. So AJ got the one to start the second. Okay. Looking to continue the momentum here in this third period are your Tigers. It's going to be Colton, AJ, and Teague up front. Jared and Tate back at the blue line as the Grizzlies have this one and able to lift it into the zone. Teague pressures with Tate. Tate with a stick lift, then takes a hit in the back. They're going to let it go. Teague working to regain possession here, gets it, tries to create space, will send that across ice to AJ. AJ tries to send it back and ends up getting it into a couple of different players. Finally does take a funny bounce and finds its way to Colton. Colton up to Teague. Teague takes the shot, blocker up into the netting behind by the Grizzly goalie. Easton will head in at center with Hunter and Miles as his wings. Josh and Marshall will be your defensemen. Marshall here on the near side. Rep sends off the Grizzlies centerman. That one to the side. Miles taps it back to his defenseman. Now up the boards where Hunter has it. Finds its way to Marshall's stick. He turns and shoots and beats the goalie on the far side back door. So that would be a lot of chaos that I'm having trouble keeping track of this morning. I know there's going to be 2 assists awarded on that one, but the goal goes to Marshall. We're thinking probably Easton to Miles to Marshall. But it is a 6-1 affair in this third period. 14-13 left in the game. And Marshall with a goal. Hunter jumps there to try and beat the DDD pass. It gets swept all the way down. They'll say no icing, so Josh going to have to get it below the goal line. Rims it around near side. Miles working on the boards there with the support of Marshall. Marshall able to pull the puck out and get it across on the back side there to Josh. Up to Hunter, who's able to make a nice twist pass to Miles, who gains the zone with speed. Miles tries a centering pass to Easton, doesn't get through clean, but Miles able to regather the puck, sends it to Marshall. Marshall up the near boards to Easton, but jammed out and all the way down the ice. They'll say no icing on that one. Oh, it didn't get near far enough. Marshall has it, gets it to Miles. Miles taps it to Easton on the near side. Marshall going for a change, as is Hunter. Crewing on the ice at defense, as is Pie Man here on the near side. Missed that change. Miles going for a change as well. That deflected up the glass as a couple of Grizzlies are going to go. Steven collects it, takes it behind the net, reverses direction there where Pie Man picks it up and heads up ice here. And Crewin sends that up to Brody. Brody gets twisted off the puck, but continues to battle, gets it in deep, does Henry. So it's Henry, Brody, and Steven out as your line of forwards. Puck makes its way into the far corner on the Tigers' offensive end of the ice. Both boys from the Tigers squad pinned to the boards. Brody probably wants to slide in there to be a little bit better option, and that would be why. Pass attempt from Henry there couldn't make it through. Brody's going to want to try and fight his way in front of that defender. As Grizzlies take that all the way in, good save by Jalen. And that makes it all the way down the ice with 12:05. Due to the score, we are on a run clock in this third period. Marshall. No, it was good passing. Tate out on defense with Jared. Your forwards are going to be Gavin in at center, joined by his line mates of Preston and Jack. Jack gets that one, lifts it toward the blue line where Preston collects it and gains the zone for the Tigers squad. He takes the shot. That's fought off by the Grizzly goalie. Rebound left, but Grizzlies able to collect it. Tate loads up there at the blue line, sends a shot in that gets deflected up into this beautiful but very low ceiling. Amazing architecture in this building in Pueblo. But probably not the first choice for a hockey rink. Here's Jack getting it out of the corner, twisting it to the center. No Tigers there, able to sweep it toward the net. Grizzlies come the other direction with numbers, but Tate slows down that rush by sending the puck to the far side boards. Grizzlies collect and try and regroup here. Onto the ice for your Tigers is Teague, as that one's going to get sent all the way down for an icing. So we'll see the rest of Teague's line come out. Should be Colton and AJ. Also a change at defense for your Tigers will be Josh and Marshall back at the blue line as we count to 10:23 remaining in this consolation match. Puck stays where it's at. Colton able to sweep it to Teague in front of the net, but Teague couldn't get anything meaningful pushed toward the goalie. That one, though, does get sent up out of play. If this was the NHL, that would be a delay of game. It went into the far bench, and their team sent it there, but it's not. So we'll just have a face-off in the Tigers' offensive end instead. Colton wins that back to Josh, thinks about firing it in, thinks second of it, and instead sends it around. AJ sweeps that to Colton and swept off Colton's stick. Now Grizzlies headed the other direction with some speed. Able to slow him up was Marshall. Now Teague has the puck on the near boards. He gets it up, but jammed back down halfway into the zone anyway. Comes out from Steven to Teague. Teague gets that across to AJ, who gains the zone. He decides not to go behind the net, tries to get it to Teague in front, can't quite connect there. I saw Steven on the ice, must not have. This is Colton still out there. AJ gonna go for a change, not gonna go for a change here. He decides to stay. Pass up ice to Colton. Now Teague trying to work it at center of the ice. Colton thought about making a change, but decided to stay with a turnover there. Marshall working it on the far side. Colton was able to get off the ice. Hunter is on, so AJ off as well. That into the legs of Marshall. Twisted out of the zone by Josh as far as center ice. This is Hunter pressuring on that far side boards. Easton tapped it but left it because he knew his teammate would have to reset out of the zone. Miles able to gain the zone for the Tigers here. Easton gets it, jams it through some traffic, and now the Grizzly go the other way. Pestered by Miles, and good work to body the puck carrier off there by Miles. Pyman tries to backhand that up the boards. Didn't make it on the first attempt, but he gets the puck back, sends it across far side. Lifted up and batted down at the blue line. Hunter is going to work today. Leaves it for Easton, but they will say that is an offsides as we come to 7 minutes, 30 seconds in this consolation match. Now it will be Steven out with Henry and Brody. Back on defense, Cruin and Pyman. Puck stays where it's at, finally squirts back to the Grizzly defenseman who shovels it to the far side. Cruin absorbs the contact, but Henry able to get the puck onto the stick of Steven. Back to Henry, who loses his skates. He's back up. Steven and Henry working on the corner. Henry able to peel it off the boards, turns, looks, and sends that high glove side for goal number 7 on the day for your Tigers. That'll be a Steven assist to Henry, making it 7-1 as we count to 6 minutes, 40 seconds remaining in this game. Your Tigers headed to a third place finish in this President's Weekend tournament. You want to finish strong in weekends like this, and they are doing so. Hopefully some momentum as we head into our final tournament of the season 2 weeks from now. That will be state, and it means something. These boys can use all the confidence they can get headed into matches against familiar squads like Boulder, Arvada, and Littleton in pool play. If they can come out of that clean, we'll run into teams the likes of Noco, Lafayette again, Arapahoe. But we'll finish up the work here today as Brody gets it through the neutral zone, gains the zone for his squad, fires it into the legs of the player in front of him, goes and gets it below the goal line. Steven headed for a change. That's Gavin working. Roomed around, but takes a funny bounce out of that corner, so stays in the zone for the Tigers. Preston taps at it, but finally jammed out of the zone by the Grizzlies. This is Jared going to gain the zone for his Tigers squad. Taps it to Preston, who loads up and shoots. Rebound left, nobody home. Jack flashed at it, but not quick enough, and now Grizzlies head the other direction. Good stick there by, I believe, Tate on the far side to keep the puck high on the blue line, or across the blue line even, but that was fired in. Jalen makes the easy save with just under 5 minutes left in this match. Gavin, Preston, Jack are your forwards. Jared out on defense with Tate. Puck is one back, loaded up. Jalen makes that save on a shot attempt from the blue line by the Grizzly defenseman. Puck makes it to the far end of the ice. Grizzlies will possess it, pressured by Preston. He stops, tries to regain the puck below the goal line, rims it around far side. Held briefly by Jared, but the flashing Grizzly player able to get it off of Jared's stick. Jared's back check works, but they're going to call him for a penalty there with 4 minutes left in this period. That kind of felt like one of those calls you get when you're ahead by 6 goals late in a game. It certainly wasn't clean, but I don't know about a hook. Looked just messy to me, but not worth contesting. And gives our boys a chance to work on their power play here. It'll be AJ out with Teague up front. Josh and Marshall will be your defensemen as the Grizzlies have it, get it as far as the face-off dot. Now back to their defensemen here. Sweep across D-to-D pass. AJ flashes, so they just dump it deep. Jared able to get it to Marshall. Marshall up to Teague. Teague sends the cross-ice pass to AJ. AJ is going to get it in and takes the shot. Misses high near side on that one. Got to get that bottom hand turned over and point at your target. Sent through the neutral ice and tipped into the zone for the Grizzlies, but Josh will be the first one there. He brings it around far side. Tries to sweep it toward one of his teammates, but he's the one with momentum, so he'll just go the whole way. AJ going to get off the ice. Easton will get on. Now Easton will pick up the pressure as Josh rotates back to his natural defense position. Teague steers the puck carrier wide. Puck carrier loses it. Fired in there by the Grizzlies squad, but cut off by Marshall, who's now going to go in and take his chance. He shoots, and that is a dangerous shot that was headed wide. Goalie tried to glove it, missed it, and because he batted it down, it actually fell in front of the net. But luckily nobody there to bat it in as we count now to 2 minutes remaining in this game, 18 seconds left on the penalty. Easton and Hunter are your forwards, Pyman and Cruin back on the blue line. Easton jams that face-off toward the goalie, who just sends it behind the net. And here go the Grizzly the other direction. Cruin working below the net. Grizzlies have it, but Cruin not making it easy for them. Jamming it up the near boards. Easton gets it. We are back to 5-on-5 hockey. It's Easton, Jack, and Hunter on the ice. Jack's skated toward that one, but the Grizzly puck carrier able to make the move. He gets it across center ice and will dump it in. Pyman surveys over his shoulder. Easton steps in and sweeps it to that far side instead. Easton and Hunter working. Hunter able to pull that up the far boards and tap that across to Jack, flashing up the center of the ice as we're under 1 minute to play in this consolation match. Sent up toward the blue line. Tate's going to hold it there and just send it right back in deep as Jack and Hunter are headed for a change. Breakout pass works. Cut off in the neutral zone by Jack Pyman, who sent it to Tate up to Easton. Easton dancing in, takes the shot, and covered by the Grizzly goalie as we count under now 30 seconds left to remain in this game. Possibly one last puck drop will do it for this day. One last puck drop one for your Tigers, and that will do it. They'll come away with a third place finish at their home tournament this President's Weekend. As I said, that was a good way to build some momentum. Overall, not a bad weekend, finishing 4-1 overall. Only game dropped was an overtime loss to a Lafayette squad that we're becoming increasingly familiar with. The good news is no games scheduled against them at this minute, but we might see them again in tournament play at state. As we look ahead at the calendar remaining, we've got some practices this week. And then our first game will be at Sertich on Thursday, February 27th, 5:45. Be ready to tune in for match number 1 against Littleton. We'll then play on Saturday the 1st against Boulder, again at Sertich. And our final scheduled match that doesn't depend on pool play is going to be Arvada at Ed Robeson Arena on Sunday, March 2nd. Thanks for tuning in this weekend. Hopefully the technology worked out well enough for you to be able to track the game. We look forward to doing this a few more times for you yet this year. Have a great rest of your week.